It's only 1 minute long. A woman sits at a table, looks straight at you, and whispers something you can't quite understand. Then the scene resets, again and again, forever. This video has no jump scares, no monsters, just a feeling you can't shake. Stay until the end, because once you learn what's really happening in Dining Room, or There Is Nothing, you'll understand why so many people swear it's the most cursed short film ever made. Comment if you think you could watch it to the end without blinking. It begins in silence. A woman sits at a table in a dim, green-tinted room. Her hair is still, her eyes locked on the camera. There's no movement except the faint flicker of light. Then she opens her mouth and says something, soft, distant, and wrong. Her words echo like they're being dragged backward through time, and before you can make sense of them, the scene resets. She's back at the table, just as she was a moment ago. Over and over, the same moment plays again. Each time, it feels a little different. Sometimes her face seems sad, sometimes furious, sometimes terrified. The camera never moves. There's nowhere else to look. Just her. And that endless, suffocating loop. That's Dining Room or There Is Nothing. A single-take video uploaded quietly to the early internet in the mid-2000s. At first, almost nobody saw it. Then someone posted it to a horror forum with the caption, "Watch this twice." People did. And that's when things got strange. The original film was made by David B. Earl, an artist exploring ideas of repetition, identity, and isolation. He designed the loop so it could start and end at any point. There's no true beginning or conclusion. You can hit play at any second, and it still works perfectly, trapping the viewer in a seamless circle. Earl described it as a comment on how memory reshapes itself, how we relive our own moments endlessly without realizing it. But the internet had other ideas. Once Dining Room or There Is Nothing reached YouTube, the context vanished. All that remained was the hypnotic loop of a woman whispering and resetting forever. The comments flooded in. Did her eyes move closer? Why did I hear breathing on my speakers after it ended? I swear she smiled the third time. It wasn't long before people began calling it a cursed video. Viewers claimed that if you let it play too long, it wouldn't stop. Some said their players glitched and restarted the video automatically. Others believed the woman's face would change slightly each time, just enough to make you doubt your memory. A few even insisted they heard her say their names. Of course, none of that was true, but when you stare into the same uncanny loop for long enough, your brain starts making its own ghosts. Earl had accidentally created the perfect psychological trap, a horror film without monsters, one that uses your perception as the scare. Did her eyes move closer? Why did I hear breathing on my speakers after it ended? I swear she smiled the third time. Still, the legend grew. Someone discovered that if you reverse the audio, the woman's line sounds like, "There is nothing," which fit too perfectly with the title. People began claiming the phrase was a hidden message, a confession from beyond the loop. Others noticed the setting looked like a dream. A dining room without doors, without food, just a chair, a table, and a camera. On early creepypasta boards, users invented full backstories, that the woman was an actress who vanished after filming, that the video was found on a damaged hard drive, that it was part of a secret art experiment that drove its participants mad. None of it was true, but the more the story spread, the more believable it became. The internet thrives on empty spaces, and Dining Room or There Is Nothing was an empty space made into film. One Redditor wrote, "I let it loop all night on my monitor. When I woke up, it was still playing, but the time counter hadn't moved. I checked the history, no playback recorded, the screen was cold. Another said, "I swear the walls behind her were darker when I watched at 3 a.m. She blinked slower, like she knew I was still there." Whether anyone believed these posts didn't matter. What mattered was that everyone kept watching. The most unsettling part of the film isn't what's on screen. It's what your mind does in the silence between resets. The rhythm of the loop starts to feel alive, like breathing. You start anticipating the moment it will change, waiting for something new that never comes. The longer you look, the more you start to imagine movement where there isn't any. A flicker of the eye, a shift in the lips, your reflection in the monitor that doesn't blink when you do. That's why it feels cursed. It makes you the other half of the loop. You're watching her, but she's watching you too. Forever trapped in the same second. Both of you repeating the same action. Staring. Art critics call it a meditation on self-observation. Viewers call it nightmare fuel. By 2010, Dining Room or There Is Nothing had joined the pantheon of early internet horror alongside I Feel Fantastic, Obey the Walrus, and Username 666. It became part of the mythology of the web's haunted archive. Videos that shouldn't exist or shouldn't be watched. Every year, someone new rediscovers it, uploads a reaction video, or claims to have found a different version. In one fake upload, the woman's whisper is replaced by a man's distorted voice saying, "She's behind you." In another, the loop subtly lengthens, adding one extra frame of her turning toward the camera. Each fake feeds the legend, convincing new viewers that the clip changes with time, as if it were evolving by itself. But in reality, the original file never changed, only we did. Every retelling added new layers of fear, meaning, and projection. David Earl once said that he wanted to create a video that loops in your head even after you've closed the window. He succeeded, just not in the way he imagined. If you strip away the myths, Dining Room or There Is Nothing is about the way we remember ourselves. How the same memory plays differently each time, gaining new distortions until we can't tell which version is true. The internet turned that into horror, because deep down, that's what the web does to memory. It loops, it repeats, it erases beginnings and endings until all that's left is the middle, forever replaying itself, forever almost making sense. That's why the clip feels alive. It's not just a loop on your screen, it's a mirror of what the internet is. Endless, familiar, empty. So the next time you find it, looping silently in some forgotten playlist, watch it once, but not twice. Because once your mind starts filling the blanks, it won't stop. You'll keep replaying it in your thoughts, wondering if you really saw her move. Wondering if maybe, when the scene resets, she remembers you too. In the end, there was nothing supernatural about it. Just a short film, a few pixels, and our own imaginations doing the rest. But maybe that's the scariest kind of story, the one that traps you without needing monsters at all. If you made it to the end, comment, "There is nothing," so I'll know you didn't look away. Subscribe for more creepypastas and eerie tales.